From the Crush Studio in sunny Florida, this is the Disney Crush Podcast. And now your two tempests in a teacup, Dave and Tony Ann.
On this week's The Disney Crush Podcast, we re-examine the Orlando Informer Universal event. Is it still worth it? We're going to talk to two people who went in 2023, Laura Nothnagel, who went over the summer, and Jeff Kessler, who went this past November, and see how they made out at the Orlando Informer event, because we're considering possibly doing it next December, maybe as a group. So we're going to see if it's worth it, if they think it is. Episode 2. How many episodes have we had? 325 of the Disney Crush Podcast is starting right now. Did the mic pop when I screamed 2?
No, I don't know.
I don't know how you listen to my voice for hours every week. And
It's not easy, Tony. It's not easy. I'm telling you.
I know.
I have to go through a lot of therapy. I mean, we do an hour show and it's 6 hours of therapy. We did a show on the Orlando Informer Meetup with Rob Maderi.
Yeah.
Last January.
Okay, so it's exactly a year.
Yeah, a year ago. So it's fitting that we do another one a year later. It was January 18th, actually, and this is January 16th, so just a couple of days.
Right, so. Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing if it's kind of the same or what's going on.
Yeah, so you and I got to spend some time together this weekend.
A little bit, yeah. It was fun.
That's rare.
It is very rare.
We live in the same town now, and we see each other maybe once every 3 months, other than on the computer screen. Yeah,
one of the little restaurants here down by the beach where we live had a little fire, and they did a little benefit for the employees and stuff when we went. The only bad thing about it is you were at the other end of the table, and the music was really loud, and I couldn't really hear that good. I mean, I have a hard time hearing anyway. Even though I had my hearing aid in and all that good stuff, it was just hard for me to hear. So
Dave, you hear my voice enough all week long anyway. So.
Well, that's different because you're right in my earphone, my headphones here. But anyway, no, it was good though. It was fun.
I was bummed that we hit it just when there was no band, because there were bands playing all day long, and we hit it like the 2 hours when there were no bands. I know.
Veronica was a little disappointed about that, but she might have been disappointed on that. You might have been disappointed on that. But before we went there, you weren't disappointed. I
was not disappointed.
You were not disappointed because you went and saw The Beekeeper and your man Jason.
Yes. It's a good. You were all the way at the other end. There were like 3 people between us because I kept smacking Rich. I was like,
oh god!
Like every time he came on the screen. Like,
oh jeez, poor Rich.
Jason Statham. That he should win an Oscar for that role.
No, that movie was terrible.
So it was really bad.
That was so
but
bad.
They left it open for a sequel at the end.
Whatever. That's the one. Well, you'll go see it just to watch him. But that was. I mean, the first little bit of the movie was the very beginning. Like, oh, okay, this might be okay, and then it was like, okay, dude, this is just getting silly now. This is just dumb. Same storyline, same old.
Well, it's basically the same as all of his movies. Have you ever seen The Transporter?
No, I've never seen Transporter.
Transporter is, it's the first one. It's the first real Jason Statham starring role. It's I like The Transporter. That is, but then they had Transporter 2 and Transporter 3, and then it got stupid.
Oh, really?
So,
3 sequels. Or 2 sequels after the original.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't know.
First one, the original Transporter is a good action movie that I liked, and it didn't hurt that he was like, yeah, well, in a Speedo for one of the scenes. I think.
I don't know. I don't share your admiration for him or his.
Fun fact about Jason Statham: he was an Olympic diver.
Wow. Okay. Well, maybe he should have stuck to diving. Because I don't think he's going to be winning any Oscars or Emmys or anything.
He's made a lot of money making silly action movies that are not Oscar worthy. Yeah.
Well, same like, Sly and Arnold, they all did the same thing.
Wait a minute. Do not talk about Sly in the same category. Sylvester Stallone wrote Rocky, which won the Best Picture award at the Oscars the year it came out. Rocky is one of the finest pieces of cinema ever created, and it is, at its core, a love story. People miss that about Rocky. Rocky, this is nothing to do about Disney. Rocky, people think it's a sports movie. Rocky's a love story.
It really is. Yeah.
It is. And it's a good love story. It's a great love story. And it did win the Oscar for Best Picture that year.
Okay.
So
I digress.
Don't begrudge Sylvester Stallone. The fact that he never did anything at that caliber again, I don't know. But hey, how many of us have written an Oscar-winning script? And,
Yeah,
so
that's true. Mm-hmm.
So I give that to him. And then he built a career off it and made millions. And God bless the guy. But, have you seen Tulsa King? It's really good, too.
Yeah, we just started watching it, actually. It is pretty good.
Tulsa King.
No, I like Sly. I'm just giving you grief. I like Sly. I like Arnold.
Sly was my Jason Statham before
Oh, okay. Well, okay. I'm not there with you on Jason yet, but I'll give him a few more tries maybe. I'm not sure if I'll.
Now don't get me started on Arnold, because his movies,
well,
they're not as good as.
Come on, the Terminator? Are you serious?
No, I like the Terminator, but anyway. This is a Disney podcast.
Oh yeah, back to Disney. Hey, so we have some we have a couple guests coming on tonight. Excited to hear from them just shortly. But before we do that, don't think we have any Facebook. No news really.
No, because we're recording the show really early. We're recording the show a full 8 days before it's going to come out.
Mm-hmm. Well, is there any misconnections? Is there any misconnections in there?
There's not a misconnection, but there is an update on there's an update on your friend that is looking for love in all the wrong places.
Well, it could be the right place. I mean, he's putting himself out there.
Well, so last week you read a little Facebook post from a gentleman who was looking for a lady friend and wanted someone to ride the rides with, hand in hand, and maybe find love with. So some of my friends are single gals who have been watching him quite closely over the last couple weeks. And they found his presence. He does have like a TikTok presence, Instagram. He lives off the grid. Did I tell you this last week?
Yeah, because I started to check him out too. Yeah,
he lives off the grid.
Lives off the grid.
He packs his own sandwiches when he goes to Animal Kingdom. And he has now infiltrated the Disney Day Drinkers group. So I don't think he'll be single much longer because that group has a lot of excited ladies.
Okay.
So if you are a single man and you would like to meet some excited ladies, join the Disney Day Drinkers. But yes, he So, but I don't think he'll be single much longer. But he does live off the grid and pack his own sandwiches, which is fine. I mean, when we were starting out, we used to pack our own sandwiches. We still do sometimes. So,
well, he should join the Disney Crush. You might find love here. I mean, hello.
I think a lot of our crush ladies are a little high maintenance for pack sandwiches.
I don't know. We'll see.
And off-grid living.
Well, he has a nice tent.
I am probably as close to off-grid living, like, because, my husband, he's had some crazy schemes in our 25 years of marriage. He wanted to do the whole hydroponics with the tilapia. The tilapia would fertilize the soil. The tilapia poo would, like in Living with the Land, you'd have the tilapia and their poo would fertilize the soil to grow the plants. Yeah, he had that in his head. He was going to do that. He actually didn't do that. Then he got a bus. See, he moves on project to project.
Well,
so
the bus was priority, so I'm glad he did the bus.
Yeah,
because in that way,
so we haven't yet had the living off the grid.
Okay, well,
because I don't think I could live off the grid.
Well, you could if you had to, but it's a little more difficult than you can't just.
Yeah, well, if you want to
turn
learn
the
more
AC
about living
on
off the grid, reach out to the man who's looking for love in all the wrong places.
I don't know. Disney Day Drinkers might do it for him. He's
living off the grid, but he has a Disney annual pass, and Disney is the most intrusive company. Like, they know everything about him, and he's trying to live off the grid.
Okay, well here, I've done a little bit of research. I've not dug deep, but I dug a little bit into it all. And yeah, he is living off the grid a little bit. Speaking of his annual pass, though, I saw something in one of his posts. I think somebody gifted him that because he has he's starting like a YouTube channel with him going off the grid and that kind of thing. So he's on YouTube. So I think he's trying to get like a following going. And I have a feeling, if I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong. And if you are out there and you hear about us and you want to talk about it, come on the show. We'll talk to you about it. But I feel like somebody gifted that to him. Not that they, I could be wrong. Yeah. I mean, he might have got on his own, but I don't know. I think I heard that.
Somebody gifted you your first annual pass.
Oh, yeah. But she lives with me and we share the same bedroom and that kind of thing. So that was kind of like, okay.
Okay. Well.
And had she given me the choice at the time, I probably wouldn't have taken it. And then we wouldn't have had the podcast. None of this would have happened. See?
Do you know that Rich has been waiting for a jet ski since I became a nurse. Nurses' husbands, all the nurses' husbands he knew had jet skis. And he's like, I'm going to get a jet ski. He still hasn't gotten his jet ski.
No.
But he has a bus. There's a bus in my driveway. Have I mentioned that in the last 5 minutes?
You did.
That there's a bus in my driveway.
You did, but a jet ski, you can't take that bus on the water.
I don't know. Chitty chitty bang bang.
See,
my phone is beeping. Who do you think is messaging me?
I don't know. It's probably Andy. I've had 2 jet skis in my life, so I could do with another one. But no, I got an annual pass instead. But that's okay. Your friend. So what's our conclusion about our friend?
Oh, he's Jeff. You know about the single guy who's all over the Facebook lately? The one in all the Disney groups. He's looking for love with the dog. I did see that. Somebody posted in one of the burn groups, which I know you Disney crushers aren't in the burn groups because you're all nice people, that his dog was misbehaving at the parks. So I don't know, people. Laura, we see you. We're going to bring you on right now. Let's bring on Miss Laura Nothnagel. So
what's a burn group?
There are these groups where people make fun of other people on Facebook. You won't want to be in it. People are mean.
People are really mean.
I thought I had too much free time.
It's a cruel, cruel world, and you.
Wow.
You don't want to go on it. I'm waiting for the day I see myself on there. So, so I just that's really what I watch it for. I watch it to make sure nobody's saying anything about stuff that that we're posting. Because
I'm sure they are.
No,
are they Disney related burn groups, or are they?
Yes, there's a Disney. Yeah. There's a Disney burn group.
Oh yeah,
there's also a Disney snark group.
Yeah, they make fun of people like us. Yeah.
All right, David. So we have 2 special guests on. We have Laura Nothnagel and Jeff Kessler, my favorite Kessler, and they both went to Universal for the Orlando Informer event. Laura went in June, I believe.
Yep.
And Jeff went in November, right before Thanksgiving?
That's right. Yep.
So when Jeff went, it was all decorated for Christmas, right? Was it?
It was, yep.
That's awesome. Yeah. So the reason I wanted to have you guys on is because some people are kicking around the idea of going December 2024. I'm going to give you the dates. It's going to be December 6th and 7th of 2024. And we're going to talk about it to see if it's something that maybe we think we might want to do. The next day, December 6th is the Friday. December 7th is a Saturday, and it's Dapper Day at Hollywood Studios. And Hollywood Studios is all decorated for Christmas, and it's Dapper Day, and it's not April, so it's not hot when you're in your crinoline and your long sleeve shirt and tie. So that's another reason why we're kicking that idea around, to maybe do Dapper Day and maybe close out the weekend with a Christmas party, with a Mickey's Very Merry Christmas party on the Sunday. So that's something that some of us have been talking about, and I don't know. I just want to see if Orlando Informer is something we want to add to it. So we did. Dave did look up the last time we talked about this event. It was exactly a year ago. Rob Maderi came on. He loved it, but he went solo. Now, you both took your families. So when you take your families, it's kind of a expensive undertaking, isn't it? So how much did it cost you guys to take your families?
So there are 5 of us, and we went both nights. So it was just under 2,000. It was
Wow.
1994.
Now you get a break if
It was
you
a good
do.
year.
Yeah, you get a break if you do both Friday and Saturday, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember, like maybe $20 or $30 a ticket, but
Okay.
Yeah, I've got pricing for this year, and it looks like where'd it go?
Yeah, you're looking at about $245 for Friday, $255 for Saturday, I think, or $234 and then $244 depending on the tax and all that kind of stuff.
Well, for 2024, it's $234 for Friday, $244 for Saturday, and $405 if you buy the 2-day pass.
Right.
And Jeff, yours was you found the similar pricing.
Yeah, I actually paid more than that even. So I don't know if the November one, because of it being right before Thanksgiving, was uppriced. It was around $255. And then when you paid like the taxes and stuff, it ended up being $271 per person.
Okay.
And my whole family, so the 4 of us, and then we also brought my mother. And we'll get to the conclusion that certain people maybe shouldn't go do this type of trip. Yeah.
Okay, cool. The thing that I remember from when Rob talked to me was that he was able to get in a little early.
Yeah. So that's for you can get in as early as 5 p.m.
Okay.
But the park is open, at least it was on the Saturday when we were there, until 8 p.m. I think they close sometimes at 7.
Okay.
But so from 5 to 8, we were in the park, but the park was open. You were waiting in normal lines. And then the package includes all you can eat. And the all you can eat is not available during that 5 to 8 because there are regular guests in there. So you would have to wait until 8 o'clock.
Don't they give you like a little voucher though that you can use?
So they give each person a $15 gift card that can only be used for food. It's not usable for anything other than food and drink. So we were able to, because 8 o'clock was late to have the kids waiting. So we ended up buying some snacks with that. But that's their answer to, hey, if you want to eat anything, you technically don't have to pay any more. And that's really good for using if you weren't having that issue for alcohol, because the alcohol is not included. It's only soft drinks and stuff are included in the all you can eat.
So you could use that voucher for alcohol?
Yes.
Cool. All right. Well, one drink, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. It was
So, Laura, I remember when you were thinking about this, you were going in the summer. You're going in June, and you were worried about the Florida heat. And one of your reasons, one of the rationale for choosing to do it this way was that you would hang out by the pool during the day and be in the park after sun went down. How did that work for you?
That worked out beautifully. And that, when I was weighing, this decision was probably one of the hugest things for us because my kids are all either the oldest is in college or the other 2 are in like AP courses where you can't miss several days of school anymore. If your kids are in like middle school or younger and they're, as a former teacher, I say take them out. But at this point, it would really mess them up to take them out. So we were stuck with June, July, August because their breaks aren't even the same during the year. So we did do that. We stayed at Cabana Bay, which is probably my favorite value resort. I love that that, what do they call it? Mid-century modern, that kitschy 50s, 60s. So we were bobbing around in the lazy river there during the day and resting up for the night. So that part was awesome.
Jeff, where did you guys stay? Were you at Disney?
We were at Disney, so we had a 5-day stay, and then we just did this the one night. So we were over at Kidani for Disney and just took an Uber over to get to Universal.
What do you know what an Uber runs to get from Disney to Universal?
I want to say it was probably around 20 would be my guess. It wasn't very expensive. I feel like all the Ubers we took were all.
And you had to do an XL because there were 5 of you, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So it wasn't too much, but where they drop you off, which is the parking lot as well, they drop you all the way at the top, but it's a hike.
Yeah.
From the parking lot. I think that's just for anyone from the parking lot to get to where you have to get your tickets for this event. It's a long, long walk.
Okay. And how's transportation for on-site guests, Laura?
At the Value Resorts, we took the bus and went up to the parking garage and went through that same thing. I think that is the worst welcome, going through high pressure airport security when you go into a park. I went back in October and I stayed at Royal Pacific, and that is either it looks like you're walking through the poly grounds, like you're taking a little walk or you're taking a little boat. And that was lovely.
Okay.
A whole different world. Yeah.
So we need to stay deluxe at Universal.
I mean, we're fancy. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Now, I've heard that when you go there and you check in that you need to go a little bit early. Is that what you guys did? Or did you guys wait and go in later after the fact? Or
we got in early. I figured it would take a little while. It ended up taking longer than I expected, just because that long walk, you have to basically walk through their entire downtown area. I can't remember what it's called, but the downtown area. Then you have to get over to where the Hard Rock, I don't know if it was different for you. You have to get to where the Hard Rock restaurant is, which is kind of between the entrances of Universal and Islands of Adventure. And then you're walking back in like the backstage for, felt like a half a mile. And it might have actually been into this warehouse that's in the back. And then once you get in there, I had sent you a picture of that, Tony Ann. Then there's like maybe 40 different kiosks where they're scanning people in, but there was still a line of probably 150, 200 people. It moved quickly, but it was very intimidating when you walked in there, where there was just more after all that walk. Then you had to wait in line to get it. So certainly from the introduction and getting there, it was like they're dropping your expectations real low, because it was a lot. But once you get tickets and you're all checked in, then it's fine from that point.
Cool. So is it like an electronic ticket on your phone or something, or you have to get a physical ticket?
You have to get physical tickets. So we got the paper tickets for Universal, and just on the back they say entry at 5 p.m. And then the gift cards were individual gift cards.
Okay.
And then you also got a wristband that they put on you right there. Or I wasn't making my mom walk as long as we had to, so I ended up getting everybody's wristbands and all that stuff, and then had to walk back around to get them. Though they showed me a sneaky way. I was able to go in the park and ended up in Seuss Land, and then had to walk from the Seuss Land to the front, because that was going to be shorter, they said, than walking back the way I had come.
Okay, cool.
Was yours similar, Laura? Similar style?
Very similar. Yes. We're going to maximize every moment of this. So we were in line before 5, and the line did move pretty quickly. They had little tables set up where somebody would come over and talk to you and explain everything to you. And it didn't seem like they were in a hurry at all, but I mean, it moved along pretty well. So she recommended, do you remember the days of tickets? Like, take pictures of these tickets, because they're like, if you lose them, they're lost. So she had us like lay them out and take pictures with our cell phones. And I thought that was brilliant. We had ordered lanyards ahead of time on Amazon for, $1 or something each, instead of like the $25 lanyards you get there. But you probably do want a lanyard there. Yeah. So we wanted to maximize every second, and we were in the park as soon as we could be. And that overlap felt a lot like a Disney party, when you go to like a Halloween party and you can get in 2 hours before. So it was insane, that overlap time.
So Laura, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. You weren't very, enthusiastic when you got after the party. I talked to you about it.
Yeah.
Did you find a different groove the second night, like after you did the first night and saw what mistakes were made? Did you do anything different the second? Like, talk about what mistakes were made.
We talk way too much, because I was trying to scroll back and find that conversation, because I remember the first night I was like, what have I done? But yes, I learned a lot more the second night, and like tips I would give people. That first night, I was like, we're getting free food. Hold off to the kids. So I kept pushing them off. They're like starving orphans. Like, we're hungry, mother. And I'm like, no, it's free in an hour. But rides. So yeah, we wasted time that first couple of hours because everything was open to everybody. So the lines were crazy. So going back, I would do shows right away, because they do have a couple can't miss shows. The horror makeup show is so funny. And the Bourne stunt show is just mind blowing. Like, even if you don't like Bourne, it's just, you have to see it. I think we got to one of those, but yeah, we didn't the first day. So I would have done a show right away, because it was kind of, the timing was like you had to hit it right away or it would be closed.
Right.
So I made a mistake there. I made a mistake with kept putting off food, because then we were in lines when the food needed to happen. one of the things when we were checking in at that table, the lady kept saying to us, now at midnight, there's a noise ordinance and we can't run Hulk, we can't run Velocicoaster, we can't run Hagrid's after midnight, which were like the big rides we wanted. Right. So she said, make sure you get in line for those by like 10:30. So we got in line for those at like 10, and really the restaurant food was kind of only from like 9 to midnight, a lot of it. So we were in line for most of that. So the first night my kids were like, I mean, they had Powerade and churros, but they were hungry. We didn't get to any of the restaurant food. They were crabby. Well, no, I think we got a little bit of the Harry Potter food. So that was another kind of little disappointment. I'd heard, all this free food stuff, but a lot of the food was like the cafeteria sized version of, it was come through this line and you can have a little bit of shepherd's pie and a little bit of side salad. It wasn't like you can have anything from the menu. But the huge thing they did love that was really fun was all those Harry Potter drinks that would be $7 or whatever. They were all like, I'll try one of each,
Right,
so,
right.
Yeah, they had a lot of fun with
Jeff,
that.
how did your kids like the food?
Had a very similar experience to what she was describing there. So we made the big mistake of, like she said, we pushed the kids as long. I think we had one pretzel in that hangover time period to just kind of hold them off. And the kids were like, is there any more pretzels? Is there any more pretzels? And it's like, no, we've got to wait. It's going to be free. So then, of course, right at 8:00, when it's free, everyone has obviously done the same thing. So we ended up in a line where there was gyros and chicken tenders. And then we all got chicken tenders or gyros and sat down and ate. And when the whole night was over, I was like, that was a mistake. We ate just at this one, lousy, no, I'm not going to call it lousy, but just like meh place. And we all filled ourselves with that. Then by the time we got to the Harry Potter area, and she's right, it's like cafeteria style. They have it all just in like trays. And you walk up to it, but it's right there so you can get fed quickly. But we had shepherd's pie in front of us, a salad in front of us, and we were like kind of full on chicken tenders that I don't even want to try this, but the kids loved the same thing. They had all the drinks, the butter beer, the frozen butter beer, the pumpkin ale, or not the pumpkin ale, the pumpkin juice. They loved and I was like, just take a couple sips. It's fine. And we got a turkey leg for the first time. And Melody was like, I want to try it. I was like, go ahead.
Go for it.
I'm never going to pay for it because I know you're not going to like it. She took 2 bites. She's like, this is too smoky. I was like, throw it away. I didn't pay for it. And and even some of the people at the stands, like the popcorn stands and the churro stands, they were like yelling to us. They're like, hey, you don't have food in your hand. Come over here and get a churro. Come over here and get popcorn. And we're like, we're kind of full. They're like, you ain't paying for it. Just come and eat it. It's like, all right. So it's like, grab a churro, 2 bites, throw it away. It's very wasteful. I feel bad, but at the same token, it's like you get to try a bunch of stuff. So the kids actually enjoyed that aspect of it.
One of the reviews I saw, they were talking about the Harry Potter ice cream parlor. So that's something else that you can't miss that. You need to.
Yeah, I had written that down because we were really excited. How often do you get to go try a bunch of different flavors of ice cream?
Flavors,
Yeah. So they all kind of they just had little cups, kind of sample cups of each flavor. So I guess that's a bummer if you wanted like a big thing of butterbeer ice cream, but they all kind of loaded up, the little cups and got to try a bunch.
So what did you ride? What were you able to get in ride-wise, Laura?
I think everything. Just about.
You went 2 nights.
But we went 2 nights. Yeah.
Right. Did you break it up, Universal one night, Islands Adventure the other night, or did you go back and forth?
Gosh, in retrospect, that would have been really wise, Tony Ann. Where were you? No, I think we ping-ponged a little bit. We were just, the kids had never done Universal. So they were so excited. And that was one thing my husband said, this would be totally overwhelming unless you studied hard, like if you had never done Universal. But my husband and I had, but I think
so you got
we didn't do a couple of the headliners the second night because we did them the first night and we had to prioritize other things. But between the 2 days, we got to everything and we got to favorites a couple times.
Yeah, it was a whole different. Yeah, we didn't get on everything. We also had 8-year-old Melody and my mom, who's in her 70s. So. There was a lot of things they didn't even want to consider. And then I accidentally convinced my mom that the Harry Potter Forbidden Journey ride was fine. And my literal experience, the entire ride was going, I'm so sorry, Mom. I'm so sorry. Oh no, I'm so sorry. Like that thing inverted her like almost upside down at one point, and I was like, I didn't remember because I've only been there twice before.
Right.
I felt somewhat comfortable with the rides, but I didn't remember it being so intense. Melody's crying at the end of that ride because there's like a dragon that breathes fire on you. So I was just getting yelled at, and I was crying. I was like, I'm so sorry, I did not mean to. And then we went over to Universal side, and there's a Men in Black ride. And I described it to my mom as, it's just like Buzz Lightyear. It's a nice, easy one. You know, this is an easy one. It is, but then for some inexplicable reason, right at the end of the ride,
the spinning,
it just spins you and spins you and spins you.
If the other car hits you with their gun right, it spins you to mess you up.
So my mom there again.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Universal just wants to get everyone sick. It's like all of their rides just give you that one little extra thing to make you want to get nauseous. So we ended up having to meander a lot just to help my mom and Melody calm down a little bit. So we only got on in total 12 rides.
That's pretty good for one night.
It was. And honestly, the highlight of it all, I would say, is the Hagrid ride, which I don't think you can use an express pass for in the normal days. Like even if you paid for the express pass, I think you still have to wait in line.
They just changed that, but yeah.
They did? Okay, you would know. So thank you. Okay, so I guess they do have the express now, but we only waited 25 minutes. Wow. And that was the only ride we actually waited. Everything else was walk on.
Even the Velocicoaster? Did you ride the Velocicoaster?
That was down, actually.
Oh, okay.
When we were there, and Andy might have been brave enough to go on it, it was down. And so luckily he didn't have to decide whether or not he really wanted to brave it. But the Hagrid ride at night is like the best thing. There was only me, Andy, and Andy and Danielle went on it. So I had a single rider come and sit with me.
Okay.
She said it was walk on for single riders. So going back to like, who would you bring along? If you go solo or with friends that don't mind going apart, it might make it even better because you could just do Hagrid solo rider and not even wait that 25 minutes and just do straight walk on. But it was we got on a bunch of rides, so we were not lacking. Everyone was nice and nauseous at the end, so we were good to go.
Dave, you get vertigo. I don't know how you're gonna do it. Universal. It's a lot of screens too.
Yeah, but it just depends. It just depends on the ride and what it is. I've been pretty lucky so far, even with my vertigo. Was there a difference between? I know they sell a certain amount of tickets, of course, but did you find a difference between the Friday when you went and the Saturday that you went? Any difference at all, or was it just about the same, crowd wise and waiting in lines and that kind of thing?
I felt like it was pretty similar.
Yeah.
And the time I had been to Universal before that was maybe kind of still in that. It was right before the 50th anniversary, so it wasn't right after COVID reopening. But I don't know. We must have hit a sweet spot where our lines were all very short. So when we went in June, I was not that impressed with the lines there, but then I went back again in October and I realized how wonderful the lines were at the Informer night.
Yeah. And so as far as food wise goes, no lines is pretty much the same, or waiting for food, or
never a huge line waiting for food. Not that I remember. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's all the benefits to me. I mean, you don't have to wait for food. You don't have to wait for the rides.
Another big benefit that we might have glanced over because we're focusing on the rides and the food is just the general atmosphere. Like, it's empty. It feels like we walked into the store that my brain's the two twin Weasley brothers store that's in there. We walked in there and we were literally the only 5 people in the store. So we could browse around and look at the stuff. Like usually you walk in there and people are pushing you and you can barely get to certain parts of the store and just have to give up. We just walked right in, looked around. We were in there for probably 10, 15 minutes just looking around because I don't think I've ever had that opportunity or felt like I had that opportunity. And then Diagon Alley and walking around there, it's so empty that you really can enjoy it. And if I was going to recommend this to anybody, it'd be if you're a big Harry Potter fan, do this. Don't even think about doing anything else in the park. Just go back to the 2 Harry Potter lands and bring your wand, do all the wand stuff without anybody pushing you out of the way and wanting to do it. Go into the stores and really take in all the atmosphere of the Harry Potter land, because it's so empty, because most people are either going to the rides or they're eating or there's just not a lot of people to begin with, that you can really enjoy the land. And that's worth the price of admission, so to speak, as far as I'm concerned, is not really getting to enjoy that.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Normally that's packed there.
That was really like the core memory time for my daughter, like probably of her whole life. We're all Potter people, but she's like a huge Potterhead. And we finally, the second night, I did Velocicoaster with them or something, but then we let her older brothers go off, and just my husband and I and her, we just let her take her time through Hogsmeade, and she like had that place to herself, and she's walking around with a butterbeer and her wand, doing every spell and just having all of our attention. And she was lit up. My husband was lit up. Like I could tell this is like going in her forever memory bank. So that was worth it. While my sons did Hulk 4 times in a row. So, yeah.
Now, have you guys either of you, I'm sure, have done after hours at Disney before, right? And how would you compare it to Disney?
To me, it felt way more crowded.
More crowded than a Halloween party or a Christmas party?
No, than an after hours at Disney.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, not the parties, but the after hours.
Okay.
And I felt, especially for Universal, like a joy in the employees that I haven't seen during the day there. Like the pressure was off. And so it was a party atmosphere. Like you said, like, come here, get a churro. Da-da. This lady at the end of the night, they had these souvenir Gilly water bottles. It was just water, but it had a Harry Potter label. So it was like $5. And she's like, they charge $5 for these. Load up your backpack. Like they're like, she's throwing them at us and stuff. And just, it was like a really fun atmosphere.
That's funny.
Yeah.
So should we do it in December? I mean, if we got a bunch of people to go, I mean,
I would definitely recommend it, because if we're going there, more than likely it's people individually, and it's people that aren't afraid to, kind of run around a park, that you can get a lot more done. You don't mind splitting off. One thing I will say, Dave, I know you're a big backpack guy. Do not bring a backpack.
Bring a thin one. We bring one, but
exactly. If your bag is over a certain size, you have to pay for the locker. So my backpack was bigger than their little lockers, and the little lockers are free, but the big lockers, every time I wanted to go on a ride, or we all wanted to go on a ride, I had to pay like $3, put the bag in there. It's just a real hassle. So
good tip.
Just get a real small bag, but I think it's worthwhile. And with our kind of people that are getting out and want to run around or crushing.
Did he use the G word on the Disney Crush?
I meant it in the term as opposed to the Kurt paid me for doing that. I'm sorry.
Okay.
As friends of Kurt.
Exactly.
Did he just throw himself off the show?
My phone fell. Yep.
He tried to save himself and throw a crush in there right after that. I noticed that.
Yeah. So to me, this is the ideal way to do Informer. One of my big hesitancies was, the price, and especially at that time, they were running buy 2 days, get 3 days free. So our 2 nights was the same price as 5 park days. So that was a little hard to swallow with my kids who had never been there and wanted to do every single thing. But for our event, where people will want to hit the highlights, where it's more about the atmosphere and being together, I think it would be wonderful. And you're paying for 1 or 2 tickets instead of 5.
Right.
But,
that's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
And if you're only going for 1 day, like you really only want to go to Universal for 1 day, the price is not that bad, because the price is like $200. We have friends, we're going next weekend, and they want to see Harry Potter Land. And a 1 day, because they're only going for the weekend.
Right.
The 1 day is like I looked it up before I got on here, $214.
Right.
For a 1 day park to park, so you can do the Hogwarts Express. Right. And here we're paying $245, and you get a $15 gift card. It's a no-brainer there.
And food.
And free food. What Laura's saying is right, where if you go for 2, 3, 4 nights, they have these packages where you barely pay $300 and you can stay there for 5 days. So that's the way, is if you can do more days, this doesn't make sense. But if you're only doing 1 day, this is a great way to maximize.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot of money, but for what you get with all the food, the drinks, and you get to ride most of the rides, I think it's a no-brainer. And I've said that when we had the
I just wouldn't
interview.
get too excited about the food, at least in our experience.
Yeah.
I did
it's
some
cafeteria level.
Is it?
What
Okay.
I had.
Yeah, I did some research, and everybody was talking about how great the food was, and had anything you wanted, and you could have as much as you wanted. It's interesting to hear that your perspective on that.
The quantity is high, the quality is
Quality's not there.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Like we heard, go to La Bamba and yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But we were also there for the rides. Like that is the one thing Disney's missing to me. Like the rides that just like turn you inside out. Like we love that, except my daughter, and that was phenomenal.
Yeah, and also I heard someone talking about when you go to try to do all the lower tier rides first, because most people are going for all the high end rides at first. Mm-hmm. So if you kind of stay back and do the lower end ones, the lower tier rides first, get those out of the way, and then work your way towards the end of the night towards the higher end rides, that you'll have
except a lot closed, so you got to be careful.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. Because those two closed because of the noise ordinance. They said. Yeah.
So I don't know if that's something you guys did or even thought about or what. But
we didn't think about it, but that's what we ended up doing. The kids wanted to start at Seuss Land, so we did the Seuss rides, and they were all walk on. And then by the time we got to the back of the park, it was mostly everything was walk on. And I don't know if that was because we did it that way or if it was.
So you gave your mom a false sense of security with the Dr. Seuss rides, and then you took her on Forbidden Journey.
Exactly. We should have left her home. She even said she jokes now and says it will always be a memory, because after that ride, I took a picture of her. We sat her down one place, and I sent a picture to my brothers, and I was like, Mom's not doing good. You guys should probably call her. so they did. So we went on the Spider-Man ride, and she stayed out and ended up talking and FaceTiming with Glenn and my other brother, Kevin. So she had her moments, and it worked out. It was nice.
My husband and I were joking about that, because there are so many times you go up 3 flights of stairs for a ride and come down 3 flights of stairs and whatever. And we're like, okay, I think we've got like 10 more years of Universal left in us, because they do have elevators, but I mean, everything's just very not accessible first.
Yeah, the Hogwarts Express surprised us. I think it was like 4 flights of stairs to get up to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
And a lot of the roller coasters and stuff, which I guess maybe you wouldn't go on them if you're older, but I don't know. I hope I will. We'll see.
No, I love roller coasters, so I'm excited to get back there. It's been a long time since I've been there.
Yeah, I haven't been to Universal in a long time.
Mm-hmm. This sounds right up our alley. We talked about this last time. We said we need to do it. There's 2 dates in December too. A lot of months have 2 dates.
Yeah.
Like there's a 13th and 14th during December too.
Right. But the reason why I was thinking that weekend was because of Dapper Day. Because I would like to do Dapper Day the next day at Hollywood Studios. But we'll have to see. It sounds like an expensive weekend though, because I also said we should do the Christmas party on the Sunday. So I guess
I would probably do one or the other.
Just do a resort crawl and just see the Christmas trees. Call that your Christmas
Well,
party.
I could do that as an event, because I laid out a whole plan for people this year, and several people followed it and said it was great. So yep, I'm gonna have to do that. We'll do a Christmas tree tour, Dave.
Oh, do we have to really? Oh.
No, you get to, David.
You get to.
If you've seen one Christmas tree, you've seen them all. Come on. No, the Grand Floridian Christmas tree is pretty good, and the one at Magic Animal Kingdom Lodge.
Yeah, and the one at Wilderness Lodge,
and the one. Yeah, there's some good ones. Okay, you're right.
Sounds like a good tour already.
Hopefully, that chef will be at the one in the gingerbread at the Contemporary that manhandled my mother.
Oh,
see, that's where you should have brought your mom, Jeff. She would have had a great time at the Contemporary. That chef, he loves women.
Oh, la, la.
He likes.
He
goes after the gilfs. He goes after the gilfs.
You should have a whole episode on that. Then just all the places to take any 65 plus crowd. This is where you go.
Dave,
Tony Ann.
Yes. Do you want to go?
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm out. Yeah.
Okay.
These guys are killing me.
Are you not entertained?
So, Laura, overall, you would do it again, or you wouldn't do it again?
Overall, I definitely would myself or with a friend. I don't know that I would do my whole family again.
Okay.
And if anybody goes, like, make a plan. Yeah.
Okay. Will you help us plan?
Absolutely.
Good. Okay, good. Yeah. Jeff, would you go back?
I'd go back again with a friend, or maybe just with my son with a plan. And key is with a plan, so we knew where we wanted to go, what we wanted to do. Definitely wouldn't bring my mother. Definitely wouldn't bring younger kids. Anyone under 9, do not take. They wouldn't be able to stay up late enough. It's till 1 a.m. And the walking was just too much.
Okay. Would you guys take me?
Will you behave?
Yeah.
No, never.
Oh, then yes.
Yeah, because when we had Rob on, he went solo and he had a wonderful time.
Yeah.
I think that's what sold me on the tickets. I listened to him and then paging Mr. Morrow. Although later I realized paging Mr. Morrow, I don't know if he did like one ride. So the whole time.
No, he just ate the whole time. I watched his video.
Yeah, it was all eating. He didn't do anything. Yeah, he rode maybe one or two.
He went on Seuss Land, I think.
And I think Bethany Vinton, or the blonde one, they just did a report on. I think they must have been at one of the November ones, because they just did a report on it as well, and she was raving about it. So the ticket prices might start going up if the word gets out too much.
Did they start this way back? I think in 2015.
It's been going for a long time. They've been going for a long time.
They kept telling us it's going to sell out. It's going to sell out. All these emails, and I remember being on like whatever it was the second the tickets dropped, and I was like, and they were still available, I think, until we went. So
well, pre-COVID they used to sell. I mean, they used to sell out like that first couple days. So I think things have changed. Maybe the economy, I don't know, but pre-COVID, I remember they used to sell out. So things have changed. For 2024, the dates are, Laura, we're going to be there February 23rd and 24th. It's for my birthday, but we're going to be doing a 5K that day. Yeah. So we probably won't go that day. February 23rd and 24th, June 7th and 8th, November 15th and 16th, November 22nd and 23rd, December 6th and 7th, and December 13th and 14th. So tickets are on sale now for the February one, because and it's a month before and the tickets are still available.
Yeah,
it used to be like that.
I checked tonight and they're available still.
And I think they even sometimes have like hotel deals too, but those sell out, I think, still.
Our hotel, I meant to send you guys. No, I did try to send you a video, but it was too big. We had a suite because we have 3 kids. And it was like after tax and everything, it was like under $240 a night for a sitting room with a TV, with the thing that folded out. And
think of what that costs at Disney. That's
a little kitchenette.
Over 4. Yeah.
So that was awesome.
Yeah.
Then we wound up going to Disney for a second vacation within that vacation, but that's a whole other podcast, friend.
All right, you come back and talk about it. Laura, Jeff, I forgot your name for a minute, even though you're my favorite Kessler.
That's Grandpa Joe sitting in bed there.
I know. Freeloading it, yeah.
He's going to get a golden ticket and jump up after 20 years. All right. Guys, thank you so much for coming on. I'm so glad you guys came. You're so fun, and we thank you for listening and joining us. David, got anything else to add?
Yeah, thank you guys. We appreciate it. I think we should probably book a ticket, Tony Ann.
Okay.
We'll talk about it.
I don't want to put anybody in a spot, but I understand that one of our friends that are on the screen right now coined that weekend possibly Geeky Crushmas or something like that. If we were to go as a group and
have yourself a geeky
3-day weekend.
little Christmas.
But I also heard that this person, hear me out, I heard that he's letting his annual pass lapse. So
I might be too.
Well, but I'm packing it in. We're going next weekend, and then I'm going in April. I'll be there when you're going to be there again, and that's right when it expires. And then we just did Olani in August, and that literally it's taking all of my DVC points. So there's no going to. Well, I'm sure there's a way, but like there's not as much going. There's always a way. Exactly.
There's a way. All right, Laura. Laura's going to let hers pass lapse too.
Maybe. We'll see.
When does yours expire?
I might have overdone it a bit this year. I think I went like 8 times. And
oh my gosh,
those
Laura.
were within the August time. But Yeah, we'll see. Mine lapses. I think it's like April 28th or something. I think
so
we both started it like right at TDC.
I remember. Yep. Mm-hmm.
All right, Dave, we're going to be losing them. But
I don't know.
Well, we can restart it. You can restart it in December, and then it goes until the following December. If we renew, then it only goes to April. So
they're so smart,
as long as they don't
Dave.
take it away, we're working the system.
Yeah,
and that's kind of what I'm thinking, because I don't want to go a bunch of times in the summer again.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking
Summer's
if I'm not paying, if I'm not going for like 5 months, I don't want to pay for that season.
Well,
that makes sense.
This parent weekend in December is going to be so expensive because you guys just convinced me to go to 2 parties. I might have to take the summer off too.
Yeah, they
Dave,
can.
And Dave hates the summer.
I do hate the summer. Yes.
Why did I not go all winter?
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't know, but we're going to be there. We're going to be there
in August.
in February, and it's going to be unseasonably hot again, like it was last February, Laura.
I was not bitter at all. I was telling Tony, and I was so excited to go in February and like maybe get to wear a sweatshirt at Disney.
Mm-hmm.
And then everywhere we went, they were saying it's unseasonably hot. This has never happened before. It was like
we were
90.
in the pool at 10:30 at night.
Yeah, welcome to Florida.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And we
Not
never got
bitter
our
at
corn
all.
dip, Laura.
Why?
We never got our corn dip.
Yeah.
I don't know. All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening to the Disney Crush podcast. Thank you, Laura and Jeff. And David, you got anything else to add?
No, but I think that if you want to go to Universal, this is the way to do it. So thanks, guys. Appreciate it. All right. I guess that's going to do it for this week's Disney Crush podcast. So until next week, say goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye.
Bye, Crushers.